Good morning, all of you. Good afternoon and good evening. Thanks to all of you who are already here. Thanks for joining. It's an exciting moment, and we are very happy on behalf of DASA to have you in this webinar. It's a special one. It's not a webinar that has been broadly announced because this is exclusively for ambassadors, forerunners, and some of our special partners that have been invited. And in today's webinars, we're going to give you an update about a very new and interesting DASA certification that is going to market. And as you all know, that is the DASA DevOps Coach. We'll give you an update on what we did, what our initial training partners did. We talk about the course development, and more important, about the global rollout, and also your role that you can play in bringing this product to the market. So it's the first webinar for this subject and for this close group of partners. So please share your ideas. There is a specific questions section, so any questions, please put them in there and we'll see if we can address them. If we have time, we will address them at the end of the webinar, and if not, we will definitely come back to you and share the questions and the answers with all of you. So that's on behalf of it from our side. So let's get started and look at the topics for today. So we're going to talk in about 45 minutes about the DevOps Coach. So it's a new role, it's a new program. I'm going to explain about why did we develop this, but also why our organization is investing in it. Why is this important from an individual perspective, from a learner perspective? We talk about the program. There's a lot to be explained, but I'll share many of those details later. You will get a highlight of it. Global rollout plan. What are our plans? Getting the DevOps Coach trainers ready. How you can get involved in making this happen, and we'll explain about the marketing in a box. I think a very strong component which is out there and will be distributed with the most important marketing artifacts that you can use. So putting it all together should give you a very good understanding of what it is, what you can do with it, and what we and the global DASA community is currently doing. So as you know, the coach program is a newest addition in our leadership program. Fits at the top, and if you look at the competence model, you'll find it in the outer skirts, together with the DevOps leader, which is still in development, and the product owner, which has been introduced in 2019, last year. And we're very excited to have the coach ready. Also, timing-wise, it's excellent timing in the market because we're the first one bringing this certification out there. And it's also a different approach because if you look at all the other product introductions, there was also a lot of work involved, primarily focused on initial marketing, initial branding, getting the products out there. But this time we did it different. So together with training organizations, experts, the authors, we ran a couple of pilots, we ran a couple of trainings, and we got very, very important feedback and very strong feedback. And you'll find, you read 2 of them here, but you'll find another 5 or 6 of them. I don't know how many we captured, also in the other slides. And the companies who joined us, I mean, they represent very respectable companies, and they all participated in this program and made it to the program it is today, a very effective DASA DevOps coaching program. So Bart, why do organizations need one, and why become a DevOps coach? So if you look at the organizations, and I think this is where it starts. I mean, because why do they need one? So first of all, you see that DevOps is showing results, and more organizations are working and adopting DevOps principles. And why do they do it? Because they need it, because in the end, their customers demand it or require it. They need new experiences, better software, better services, and need it, not only better and faster, but also at the highest possible quality. And DevOps is still in its early adoption. If you look at Google statistics, you'll find that it's at its peak. So it's still growing, growing, and growing around the world. So that's a very important one. That the underlying assumption and acknowledgement that DevOps is there to stay, and it will only become more important. The second one for organizations is about, if you don't move, if you don't think in digital models, business models, uh, you don't know what your customer wants, then there is absolutely no future for you. So it's a defensive model, but it's an important well as well to consider. We talk about the culture, changing organizational culture. What has also been acknowledged is that if you do want to do DevOps right, it's a very, very tough management challenge. I mean, it's about deep cultural change, and getting that change done requires a very specific approach. And the DevOps coach is one of the key instruments to make that cultural change happen. And how we do that, and how that the DevOps coach does that, we'll also explain high level in this presentation. And it's about building a mindset for the future, because we know that change is the only constant, and new technologies will come and come and come and again and again. And while that is a certain thing, it's about how do your people, how do your teams, do your organizations deal with that, and are they ready to adopt it or leverage this continuous change? And that's where the DevOps coach come in. From the learners, it's a very interesting one, because there you have other components as well, and we have tested this as well, because we ran the first program also in the Netherlands while the program was not formally announced. I mean, we're still in let's say in the market introduction phase, and there were 8 or 9 people signed up from different companies. And why? Because, and some of the reasons are also in front of us. It's a great investment. I mean, coaches will become more and more in demand. It's following your purpose. A lot of these folks used to be consultants, but they also love to coach individuals and teams to high performance. They want to be part of a group and be connected with like-minded experts. It's about having fun and developing yourself. And the last one, probably number 5, is a very interesting one, because this program has shown to develop very interesting new competences to experts um, who have, in my opinion, have already made their mark. Have lots of experiences, but went to this course and actually had eye-opening experience and learning a lot of new things. So, so this is more or less the learner perspective. Both Coco and I are looking forward also to, also during this conversation or after this, getting ideas as well, about how can we strengthen the message, what is still missing, or other ideas. So whatever there is out there, or things we can address, let us know. Another thing is, I mean, DevOps coach openings. This one was in London a couple of weeks back. Very, very exciting positions. Organizations, the leading ones, are hiring for them. This is for a consulting company working with the top 100 companies in Europe, and it's very exciting stuff. And with our program, we develop them to be uh, very strong folks who can really act in that role. So let's have a look about the role, the scope, and the purpose of the DevOps coach. First, some highlights. It's a 3-day program. There's only one formal delivery, classroom. Exams are ready. A program can be run and exams are ready. Not all the EIs, exam institutes, are ready, but you can run and order the exams. And the target audience is quite broad actually. So we see executives being interested, but definitely the agile coaches and business coaches who are out there and can have benefit from a boost, more becoming more familiar with the DevOps domain and the typical DevOps organization. You find business IT managers, business analysts, enterprise architects, and the DevOps team members. So you see, it's an interesting target audience to address, and they come from many different angles, which is absolutely fine. There's also no prerequisite. I mean, we get a lot of that question as well, like, do I need to have a DASA DevOps fundamental certification? And you don't, because it's not required. The only thing required is that you come prepared. We will provide pre-reading. You come prepared with understanding of the DASA DevOps principles, the 6 principles, and the DASA competence model. So with coming prepared, you'll be ready to onboard and start the class. So the coach, and this is also, by the way, it's also an assessment or a kind of quiz or in the program itself as well, because if the definition of DevOps is already can lead to, let's say, different answers, and similar for coach. And during this program, we bring this together. And the definition of the DevOps coach is, I think, brought at the end of the, I think, or midway of the first day. But it's about supporting IT teams and organizations. It's also being a partner of IT individuals and teams to enable a cultural change, to help you go through a change and help you sustain a change. And the third one is also, it's very important that there is a very strong focus on business success and performances and KPIs. And during the program, you'll find all the details about this specific coach. Let me see if I can remove this one. Yes, excellent. So the way we define the coach is that it has to operate, he or she has to operate at multiple dimensions. So first of all, you need to have a very good understanding of yourself. I mean, your own values and belief system, your own style, because only then you can effectively coach individuals in enabling them, and same for teams, and on a higher level, a larger level, macro level, also the organization. And this program takes you through all the dimensions. So of course, it's very important understanding yourself, but also we talk about tools and instruments and strategies to coach individuals, teams, and on the organizational level. By the way, Coco, I removed my thing. So if I miss any urgent questions, then please, please, yeah. So while on one hand you have the levels, the dimensions, we build on top the DevOps dimension. So a lot of time, effort, case studies are geared around DevOps adoption, DevOps transformation, and giving you a very solid process on where the coach fits into the DevOps transformation process. What was exciting and important to understand is that there is a very big difference between the coach and the leader. The leader typically responsible and focused on, let's say, business outcomes. And the DevOps coach is more remote, is not directly accountable or responsible. We're accountable and responsible for the coaching results and in the end other results, but they're not the team leader. They do not do direct performance reviews, etc. So it works from a stance of influence. So from that perspective, it's more enabling the, let's say, the softer aspects of the DevOps journey, and but still keeping an eye on performance. But it operates from a safer role, just not being your direct leader, but you being just outside, and from that role of influence, he or she can really guide you through a lot of change that is required and helping you go through that change. We also developed a coach competency framework in this program, and I have to tell you upfront, the model will be changed. So, but I just wanted to share it because I mean it's an important component from an instructional design perspective. So it builds on the DASA DevOps principles. It builds on yourself, on communication styles. It's about contracting for towards individuals and teams, and important yeah, core skills and competencies that you need to understand. And it's about coaching, consulting, facilitation, and mentoring, and building it up from the present, from yourself to the outer skirts of the models, and everything will pass by in these 3 days. And on top of that, you will find different views on each and all of them, from the individual perspective, the team perspective, and the organization perspective. So we have quite you will get quite a lot to cover. And for those of you who were in this course, I mean, some of you joined the first versions, and even some of you also did the TTTs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the objective is that, and our vision is that it's a very highly versatile role, because you need to be able to change between modes, you will be trained on: coaching, mentoring, facilitation, consulting. But you also need to be able to cater and change to different audiences, different dimensions, from individual, team, and organization. So you need a lot of soft skills, very well developed set of tools and soft skills, and you need hard DevOps competences. So it's from that perspective, it's a very unique program which caters to basically all of them. I will not go into detail because we do share the presentation as well with you, and you also find yeah, most of the testimonials in here. And if you have some time, go through it. It's an interesting perspective of how different experts from also different parts of the world actually appreciated the course. And among them, some ambassadors as well. Martin, I don't know if Martin is in the call, but he also participated in the program and and helped us fine tune this. So a lot of us also on the call today have been informed. So this was more about the role. I also have 3 slides prepared, which give you some insights about what is being trained. What is part of the content. So before I start that, it's definitely not conclusive. So I do suggest that there will be other webinars planned as well, where we go in a little bit more detail. But just to give you a perspective of what is in there, because it's a 3-day program, and we basically have 5 modules, from introduction, uh, introduction to the case study, the difference between the coach and the leader, and module 2 already starting on the first day. It's about the objective that the coach is there. The DASA DevOps coach is there to coach for performance and change. We do a lot of exercises. We look at KPIs. A lot of tools will be presented as well. And module 3 is about being a DevOps coach. So we build on the DASA competence model and the coaching framework. We go through the core skills for coaching. Do a lot of activities on different topics, and we'll close that module with the mode of operation. So understanding the difference between coaching, mentoring, facilitation, and consulting, and why it's important to know it, and when to use what mode in different situations. For instance, in different cycles or of the life cycle of a team, you need to perform and act and choose a different mode, and we'll learn you how to do that. It's about team coaching, so module 4 exclusively about teams, and module 5 brings it all together. It's a brilliant an in-depth case study with a lot of exercises, real-life coaching and with teamwork, and yeah, it focuses on the full DevOps transformation project that you need to design, develop, and with assessments, a very exciting thing. So you'll see that it's a lot about coaching, but it's also a lot of DevOps stuff. And there are a lot of tools informed. I'll just spend 10 extra seconds on this slide because I presented this at a conference in Amsterdam. Because I was surprised when I went through the program, um, how many of them are addressed and presented and for you to tap into and learn from. So it's a yeah, you get a full-fledged overview of the most current tools that you can use in your day-to-day coaching world, and I think it's extremely powerful. Module 5, yeah, as I explained, so brings it all together. It's a complete business case, and we'll share you more about it. As also in the marketing in the box, where you get access to the full documentation, but also the case studies and the course fact sheets. To close it, this section about the, let's say, more the in-depth of this the program. So it's very action-oriented, application of practices. It's presenting, it's doing, it's also all related also to the competence framework, the coach competence framework. And so it's a very well-balanced mix between active, doing, and learning. How are we doing on time, Coco? We're 25, so we're doing fine, isn't it? Yes, yes. Any feedback so far? Yeah. So we got an interesting question, and I think looking at the time, it's also good to do it because, so if there are specific room requirements, there are. And while I'm answering this question, I'm trying to envision what the course fact sheet says, because that's typically a product which you detail what the room requirements are. But in any case, we need a large rooms with the different tables. The picture you see here in the back was actually from one of the sessions, which was conducted in Rotterdam. You also see the back wall with a lot of sticky notes, and so you need quite some space, of course, depending on the number of people attending. But beyond that, I don't think there are any other specific requirements, but you will find them in the course fact sheets we share with them. Thanks for that question, by the way. I don't know who asked it. Jorge. That's early for you, Jorge, isn't it? I'm very happy you're here, and I think I'll also say a few words about what we're planning to do in Mexico in one of the next slides as well. But where are we today? So March 2019, excuse me, DASA finalized the coach syllabus. ITpreneurs is at this moment, I think, the only courseware partner who developed the program, who developed the courseware. And in a separate webinar, ITpreneurs will also share a background about more details about that program. But DASA is open to work with more courseware partners if they're interested, because the syllabus is out there. It's well defined, so that can be done. First pilots were organized in Bangalore and Rotterdam. In 2020, we ran the first formal program in Global Knowledge Netherlands. And here are we today. Internal launch and the global launch will be in March 2020, where we going to announce the program to the rest of the world. And the global rollout, which is already taking shape, will happen as of April onwards. A very important thing to understand is getting trainers ready to be able to deliver this program. And let me take you back to this slide. Why is this important? Because this is a new thing. If you look at the DASA certifications and the typical training the trainer programs that are out there. For all the other DASA programs, it is relatively easy to become a trainer, a certified trainer, because you typically had to follow the program, pass the exam with the right percentage, typically 10% higher than the average pass rate. And if you have, let's say, proper or enough background, the credentials, I mean, you should be ready and good enough to train. But for this program, it's different. There's no self-reading capability. You have to be there in the program and you have to follow a 1 day to train the trainer. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to become that trainer. And that's why we're spending a separate section on that to explain you what is required and to become one and how to take the next steps there. So, till date, we have 9 coaches in the Netherlands and India who follow the full program and the 1 day TTT. So they are certified DASA DevOps coach trainers. Some of them are in the pictures. By the way, I'm in the picture, but I'm not one. So I'm just carrying. Someone gave me this beautiful certification thing, but I'm definitely not one. I don't have the ambition to be one. But in any case, so we have 9 of them, and some of them are already involved in providing this training. I know that Liuke, she run one with Akil for global knowledge. I know that Dimitri over here, another Dimitri, is planning to run as DASA DevOps coach with Daryl in the UK. So I mean, a lot of these folks are also being requested by training partners to run and organize those programs. But how do you get there? How do you become a DASA DevOps coach trainer facilitator, follow a 3 day face-to-face coach program, participate in a 1 day train the trainer program, and pass the coach exam? That's the standard requirement. So what we are doing to enable this is we are actually planning and organizing the first courses with our key partners in the world, and ITpreneurs is taking the lead. So also focusing with their key partners, encouraging them to run the program. Typically, one of the master trainers and key authors of this course, Akil, you find him here on the right side the visual. He will fly down to facilitate the first one, to train the first group, and to enable the first trainers. That's the standard model that we're using today. So we're planning to be on the ground in the United States, in North Carolina in April. We hope that we can follow up in April, May in Mexico. In India, there's already a regular schedule running by training organizations. Same for Netherlands. So that also provides opportunities for experts around Europe to come to Amsterdam, take the 3 day training, and after that they only need to do a 1 day train the trainer. But we're also talking to partners in different places in Europe, Denmark, Germany, to be on the ground there. So at the moment, it's a kind of joint activity of ITpreneurs' effort and Akil's effort as well as being one of the authors. And I'm also involved, but despite the fact that I'm just primarily creating market for it, but you can also talk to me to get the first programs planned and organized and get you ready or get your partners and your trainers ready in your regions. It is important to understand the business model, and this is just, let me be very clear, this is only for the first training, because if you want to run a training on the ground in your location for your customers, uh, well, the team asked me to put together just indicative ballpark numbers. So, and I was a little bit hesitant to put it in there, but I just want to give you a bit of idea, because it's just to understand the model for the first program, because after that you will have, or your training partners will have 1 or 2 experts ready. So typically, if we would ask Akil to run a 3 day program, He's working with a attractive rate because it also typically includes included travel as well for him. In one of the previous instances, we need to cover the master trainer, there's some travel cost, and the exam and the courseware is about 450. Typically, you can also invite students from your customers, and the going rate is about 2,000 euros or $2,200. So with a couple of learners, if you would invite a couple of learners and a couple of your trainers, I mean, you can run your first class, definitely break even, and have one of your earmarked trainers ready. Alternatively, you can also work with some of the certified trainers which are out there. They will also be happy to support you, but this is the way to get yourself or one of the earmarked trainers, coaches of your training partners ready. Do you have any specific ideas or comments or? Yeah.
You got some questions on hold.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good one. So I was shifting to another screen, and I don't have my glasses with me, but I was able to read it. It was also a remark from Jorge. He said it's a kind of recommendation that it's quite important to have two teams ready or two teams available in the DASA DevOps Coach program for those deliveries. Yeah, and yeah, because they need to challenge each other, they need to learn from each other, and that makes a lot of sense. And that's also true for this program. Let's see. Yeah, so question about the size of the teams, Jorge, I will prefer to pass it that, but what I've seen working well is we have team sizes of three, and sometimes you saw some bigger ones. So over here so there are three teams of I think 5, 6 people. Also works very well, but you can also work with team sizes of three. So
It's from the other one.
Yes, from Pierre. One in the UK, yes, and one in Luxembourg as well. Pierre, that's an excellent addition. Pierre Olivier Portman, our ambassador based out of Luxembourg, and also certified as a DevOps coach trainer. Yes, also from Luxembourg. Yes. Okay. And Pierre, I'm also counting on you on bringing this to French-speaking countries, etc. And we have a lot of interesting activities ahead. So the question is, how can you get involved? And many of you already have an idea, but for some of you who are on the call, it can be relatively new. So, and I wanted to make this as specific as possible, and how you can help us and how you can help yourself and the DASA community at large to bring this program to your markets. So the first step is to find, let's say, identify training or consulting partners. I mean, I say consulting partners because we don't have a consulting partner role, but consulting organizations can be very interested in this program, or training organizations as well, but also consulting organizations. And our request is to identify them or identify potential DASA DevOps coaches. You might know DevOps experts or Agile experts who could be interested in following the program, and encourage them to run the first program. Can be on the ground, or they can join one of the running programs out there in the world, and that we will also be announcing. So it will be very nice to identify them, talk to them, or get them in touch with us, so we can have the first conversation and see if how we can make it work with our master trainer, be on the ground and get them activated. The second thing is to help us create buzz, marketing, promotion. I mean, most of the activities are about to start because everything we did so far is still under the radar, same as today's webinar. So please participate in events and and speak about the coach program. I know that Daryl Sherborne, I don't know if Daryl is here. He should also be somewhere here. I can not easily I see him, but he will be speaking in Manchester, I think next week. 30-minute slot on the Unicom conference, DevOps conference. Daryl is here, by the way. So if you can see yeah, you can see, yeah. And which is great. And we have a lot of presentations and informations, and we are here to help you, to train you, to update you, to share interesting things, or to help you write proposals for to get accepted as a presenter. So please help us with that as well. If not, you can always refer to us. So create some buzz and refer to us in the marketing team, and we are here to support and talk and create the global momentum. And at last, of course, keep liking and commenting our social media posts. That's very important for all of us. It will increase our reach, and we're doing extremely well. If you look at our LinkedIn following, I think it has almost doubled in the last 12 months. So we're getting a lot of attention and outperforming, let's say, our competitors or similar players in the market from that perspective. So we're doing very, very well. And the way we do it is member based, is team based. So the folks you see over here, they're all part of our team, and that's how we grow this organization, and that's how we do it, and that's what we appreciate, being connected with so many experts around the world. A few words on the marketing in a box, and then I'd like to close it and move to some Q&A and get some first feedback. Yeah. After this webinar, we're going to share a couple of instruments. There is at least one brochure. It's the first brochure, so and I can tell you it will evolve in time as well. So we put this together for a presentation next week in India for 150 folks of a large technology provider. So we needed a brochure, and that's why we prepared this. But it will be available for you as well. We have a presentation for that we use at some of the conferences, the fact sheet, specific websites, resources, and we'll also be maintaining a frequently asked question there. And I will share that there are some of the details, some of the webinars, or some of the websites that are out there. So we'll share that. I'm also looking at Coco after the webinar, put it in a folder and share it with through the right sources and media that we have for that. So please, yeah, be part of our movement, be part of this movement. It's a very we're in a very exciting time. DevOps coaching is about to become very, very hot. We have an excellent timing with this product. So please help us encourage your partners in your region, or invest in this yourself. Get yourself up to speed and ready, and help us create buzz and help us present and talk about the program. And this is the last slide. I'd like to open up for some question and answer as well. And we have another 5 minutes.
That's all the questions I already shared.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. There's one there. Yeah. This one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a very interesting one which came in. It also had to do with the languages. With this program, which is in English, taught in English, of course, we can reach, we can cover most of the world. But what we also envision is having the program translated as well by some of the certified trainers, and we have ITpreneurs as a business model for that as well. So it requires a separate discussion with ITpreneurs. but also bringing that product into different language territories. So that's a good one. It's a little bit early, but it's always good to reach out to us and to let us know what the requirements are and if we can think about a translation strategy for the coach program as well. Excellent. So thanks a lot, guys. Jorge, special thank for you if you're still out there. It's in the middle of the night if you're in Mexico. So yeah, it's 2:30 at Jorge. It's incredible. So thanks a lot. Sleep well. And for the rest of you, have a great day. Please let us know if this was useful. Share your feedback, what we can improve. Let's keep in touch and let's get this going and keep following us on the coach program. Thanks a lot.